Hi, Filipina Weber here. Welcome and welcome back. It's not a surprise when you say the family of your Filipino wife is the primary reason of your marital strife. Because personally, I understand that and I can totally relate to it. Sadly, some of you end up divorcing because you just can't turn a blind eye to supporting the entire clan financially because it feels like a lifetime commitment to you. On the other hand, some husbands have gotten used to dealing with buffalo dies every week, every month, and they keep their marriage, even harmoniously. By the way, my husband is also using that buffalo phrase when I send emergency money to my family, and I find it funny every time. But, folks, will it make a difference if you don't help send financial support to your wife's family back in the Philippines? And only her doing it instead without hurting your pocket. Well, let me tell you about the type of setup in our story today between this American and a Filipino couple. And you might start doubting your wife after you hear of this interesting case today. I'm permitted to share this story by the husband as long as I won't provide any details that would allow people to identify anyone in his family. So, earlier this year, my husband and I had a discussion with an acquaintance who's married to a Filipina. He met this Filipina while doing his military training in the Philippines. They dated on and off for a few months and then did LDR for another year before finally getting married. After his military service was over, they relocated to his hometown in the Midwest. They were in their late 20s and had plans to start a family, buy a house, get a dog, and live the American dream, of course. So he told us that a few days earlier, the wife had received a 1099 tax form from a company called Phoenix International Limited, showing that they had paid his wife over $30,000 in the previous year. His wife had been taking online classes over the past year and was not working. So she stated that she had no idea what this document was, and she told her husband she thought it was a mistake or a scam. So later that evening, the husband did some research and discovered that Phoenix International Limited was the parent company of OnlyFans. He didn't want to confront his wife until he knew if she had become an OnlyFans model. So he called his brother, who he knew had used OnlyFans in the past. And he wanted his brother to see if he could find his wife's profile in the system. Guys, I'm not familiar with OnlyFans and I have no idea how it really works. And I was really uncomfortable asking our friend further about this. So forgive me if I don't have the details just perfect. The next day, while the husband was at work, his brother went into OnlyFans and, with a little snooping, found a woman that looked very similar to his sister in law. She was wearing a wig and sunglasses, so he wasn't sure, but he noticed that the bedroom the woman was using was a match for one of the bedrooms in his brother's apartment. So he took a video of graphic activity that his sister-in-law performed and sent it to our friend, the husband. So when the husband got home, he confronted his wife with proof that she is making money on OnlyFans. Surprisingly, even with the video and the tax form, the wife initially denied that she was doing anything inappropriate. So the husband asked me directly if it was typical for a Filipino to try to hide the truth after getting caught. I felt bad for the guy and told him, yeah, that's pretty normal in the Filipino culture, especially the men. Filipino men are notorious for that. And also, I believe it's a human nature, isn't it? Anyways, guys, generally, we don't like confrontation and we absolutely don't like getting caught doing something we shouldn't be doing. We have the tendency to deny and deflect when we are caught. But nevertheless, it was still an insensitive question personally. So, going back to the story, after about 20 minutes of the heated discussion between them, the woman admitted that she was doing OnlyFans. The couple were not wealthy in that much extra money would have been noticed if she was spending it. So the husband asked her where the money is. And her response was that she sent it to the Philippines so her father could buy a used jeepney. As you all know, a jeepney is a type of a public transportation used in the Philippines. So the Filipina told her husband that her family had put great pressure on her to send money so her father could fulfill a dream of his to own a jeepney. All the money the Filipina had made had gone into a secret account and transferred to the Philippines, where her father used it to buy and remodel an old jeepney. So she explained to her husband that she knew he worked hard and was trying to save to buy a house and start a family, and she didn't want his efforts to go to support her family in the Philippines. However, she still felt obligated to help her family while going to school online and not impacting their home life. So, this is where it gets interesting. The husband threatened to divorce his wife and demanded she quit OnlyFans immediately. So the Filipino's response was that her father needed several more thousands of dollars to finish this jeepney's renovation and perhaps more incidentals and accidentals. And the only way that it could be paid for is to continue her OnlyFans gig for another couple of months. So the Filipina didn't break down, cry, nor beg for forgiveness like you would typically expect, and this confused the husband even more. Of course, the next question he asked me is if this is typical for Filipinas. I told him I didn't think so, but I could understand the pressure she was under just to help her family, and he shouldn't underestimate how that pressure can make Filipinos do things they typically wouldn't do under any other circumstance. So he did say that he had gone temple for several days and did not talk to his wife or sleep in the same room. So the Filipino did not physically cheat, and the man admitted he loved his wife greatly and didn't really want a divorce. So for a few days, the Filipino stopped doing OnlyFans, with the hope of easing the tension in the house. The husband was trying to keep himself busy and started doing taxes for the year. He took the 1099 form that his wife received from OnlyFans and started punching the information into the tax preparation software. OnlyFans does not deduct taxes from any of its payouts, and the man discovered that they would owe close to $7,000 in taxes, which they did not have. So now the couple have to come up with $7,000 to pay the tax as a result of the OnlyFans work. And her father still has an unfinished project and is waiting for funds so he can complete the work. So the husband is confused on what to do next. But his Filipino wife is telling him to let her continue OnlyFans for another 3 or 4 months, and she would make enough money to finish her father's jeepney, pay the tax they owe, and save enough money to pay taxes for the next year. So the husband is humiliated, thinking that his wife is naked in front of the camera with hundreds or thousands of men watching. So his big question is if I thought his wife would really quit doing OnlyFans once the jeepney and taxes were paid. So, guys, I supported the Filipina and told the men that I would think she would quit if they both agreed to a firm stop date and for OnlyFans to never be a future option for quick cash. However, deep in my heart, I believe that if her parents pressure her enough, then she would probably do it again. As they say, past behavior is a strong indicator for future behavior. I personally would have been too embarrassed to discuss this situation with our friend and person of the opposite sex, but the younger generation seems to be more open with such things. So this situation didn't completely surprise me though, because a couple of young single Filipino moms that I know of work as strippers here in the US, and they're even pretty vulgar about the job. That in fact they've been recruiting other Filipinas because of its lucrative earnings. So guys, what are your thoughts? Should a couple stay together? And what advice would you give? Let me know in the comment section below. And please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'll be back next week with another interesting story or video. Thanks for watching and bye.